If you could sell it, you would in a heartbeat. There's a market for everything, Severo. And yeah, the original dick pic when you send someone whose first name is Dick. Or for people in countries that are unaware, people whose name's Richard. So some people find it offensive to send, pictures of large dicks, so you can go for some short dicks like Richard Hammond. Who else is there? I don't really know that many other Richards. Hammond aged well? Yeah, I mean, by the time he stopped looking like a teenager by the time he was 40 or something, wasn't it? Oh, actually, you know what we want to do? I need to lock that guy in that room. Yeah, that's it. If you've got someone selected, you can power attack. I wonder if I could have moved him from room to room so I could have gotten the outer walls better. Well, maybe I can still get him into that room. Come here. There you go. Thanks, buddy. And secret voter card. I'm Australian, man. No! Okay, I broke the door. Sometimes the sheep don't behave, you gotta buy them. That's exactly right. I exited the bathrooms. I was like, what? Give me bricks. Can't break the sign until you read it. At some point, probably after this building, we'll do a wishing well break. Because last thing I want to do is get the 450 bricks and then have a wishing well give us 30. But how close are we? I mean, it's not that. It's... Okay, so the brick grind, it's bad. It's not too obnoxious though. Pretty close, but once you stack up all the attack speed stuff and... I think maybe if I... It's funny because I remember thinking, I don't think I'll get much brick because there's nothing to use it on. There's no items to upgrade it. It wasn't... I don't think we were using it to, you know, make the sledgehammer any stronger or anything like that. So it almost felt like, what was the point of getting any of it? And then we get a quest. And at some point I'm like, oh, hang on, it's going to want a lot of brick. And I started sort of casually collecting some along the way. I'm like, it's going to be in one of the last rooms, so it's not a big deal. Until I realized how much they wanted of the other numbers, the other items. I'm like, it's going to be a lot. Yeah, I couldn't tell you anything I used stone for. I know at some point I saw it in the upgrades, but I'm like, it felt not very meaningful. But I think because it depends how you play too. I think if you just go through and follow the quest line and start going for the things and don't really focus on clearing houses at any stage, you just sort of every now and then be a bit cheeky and take a shortcut through a building instead of looking for the door. You know, and you go, oh, I'm getting a bit of this sort of timber now. Maybe I'll upgrade the axe some more. So I'll just focus on it on my way. You know, maybe you wouldn't have so much. But as soon as, like, I really pushed for all the stuff and the upgrades, and as soon as we got to... Can the baseball bat get through the cemetery ones, or do you have to have sledge for that? Either way, as soon as we could break the cemetery, like the concrete pillars and the wrought iron gates, you know, it's like, oh, I got heaps of... I'm gonna get stone. I'll just walk through those every time. Okay. We're going pretty close. Oh, we're there! Just. Alright, and just as a reminder to anyone else never to build a house out here. Yeah, we just got there. Definitely feels good. But also feeling more sad. I had to run down the road, and it's like, no, just run over the house that doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, we had to make a... We had to do so much farming, man. Oh, you can snipe the vultures? I have not sniped the vultures. New monster slain vulture. Oh man, that's in the collection. I wouldn't have, well, I mean, I would have got it eventually. I thought that was going to be like some last big boss. Oh, no more last big boss. Fast travel to Arktown. Where is That's down in the Ark anyway, okay. Hit this campfire, see if we can sleep. We get in a good 12 hours. We've got 40 hours we've got to make up. Come on, man. We're going to spend the last sort of half an hour of gameplay waiting for time to tick on so we can sleep. Bring left.
320 samples deposited. 340 samples deposited.
Hey Memphis, you've got to complete the art quest and get the power fist, which I'm about to do now.
380 samples deposited. 460 samples deposited. This collection is now 100% complete. The arc is now 87% complete. Please move forward to the next collection. By refining the hardest of materials, we were able to touch the sky itself. Towers of steel and glass, larger by themselves than some cities of old. The samples in this collection will ensure our safety in the coming age. Deposit them for the continued survival of mankind. 10 samples deposited.
I have it in storage. And I'm going to make some more titanium. I must have upgraded something. Do you have the Kopesh as well? I upgraded the Kopesh, yeah, that's right. I probably could just scrap these machines and have enough, right? Okay, let's quickly do the wishing wells then. Should take the time we need. I'm gonna do 3 wishing wells. I just want a wishing well. I just want a wishing well. 4 electronics, 11 stone, and a green fish. Yeah, some of the POIs require a bit more of the quest done. It's a side quest though. Oh wow, we can get a bunch of crap. Thanks, game. Imagine if any of them were bricks. We got 35 stone as one of the things. That was pretty good. Need 11 lattice. Alright. Let's go. Is that one close? Yep. One red fish, 5 bowls of rice. cold damage. Don't care. I'm just wishing well. Oh, there's some stone. That's the wishing well achievement. Oh, metal, I should say. Okay. We need to sleep for 40 hours. We need one more recipe there, which will be the power fist. One there, which we need the power fist for. Power fist. 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. Final quest. 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. Arc quest. 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. Oh, it's so close. Yeah, the sleep for 41 sucks as well because you're not allowed to sleep. They won't let you sleep every day. They literally have to AFK it. How much titanium did I need? How much did I give him already? I needed 35 all up. I can't remember how much I gave him. Oh, did that go back to the beginning? Rude. I guess see if this is enough since we got a pastime anyway. I needed 20 more. Awesome. Thanks, Geppetto. I'm probably going to need some for upgrades though, right? So we should totally just... Wait, how much? I have heaps. There's 60. There we go. Roar. Samples deposited. Samples deposited. "40 hours sleep required." $25. Ooh.
20 samples deposit. This collection is now 2% complete.
Well, that sucks.
10 samples deposited. 30 samples deposited. 70 samples deposited. 150 samples deposited.
I don't have enough steel now. I have to cancel some of the things.
10 samples deposited. 30 samples deposited. 70 samples deposited. 150 samples deposited. 310 samples deposited. This collection is now 51% complete. 10 samples deposited. 30 samples deposited. 70 samples deposited. 150 samples deposited. 310 samples deposited. This collection is now 87% complete.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I've got the steel. I just have to stop one of the smelters because I like started making titanium because I figured I'm going to want to upgrade the power fist, which will probably take titanium and a bunch of other stuff that I might want to upgrade, but I won't upgrade. We need 150. Probably quicker just to go back home, huh? Oh, yeah. Alright, back again. Enough. Okay. Okay, let's go. Hey, Hellstar, how you doing, man? Let's do it.
160 samples deposited. 180 samples deposited. 220 samples deposited. This collection is now 100% complete. The arc is now 100%. The arc is now complete. Please move forward. Thank you all our volunteers.
All our volunteers.
The after party will be held at arc level 2. There will be cocktail, snacks and beverages, and a live band playing my favorite song. I made it myself.
And a live band playing my favorite song.
The Arc Level 2 is now accessible. Welcome.
Welcome.
Let there be light.
The arc is now complete. What mysteries will level 2 contain? We're now level 62. Nice. My will is the will that will pierce the... Guessing there would be music, but I've ticked the don't play copyright music. Yeah. Now collect more sets of everything. I need the Arc Lab key. Are they all the tombs? One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's only 18 there. There was 20 all up. Oh, unless they're the transmitters. Everything is carefully placed. I wish there had been more mana to build extra campfires. Need the Arc Lab key. Phone isn't ringing yet. A fabricator. Near the end of the main quest drops the key. Alright, well I guess I better go do more main quest then. Alright, so we just need to set up some defenses and start and repair the engine. We need it. Well, he said set up some defenses. So, set up some defenses then. Maybe take rid of that one. Victory! I'm doing this in fast speed. Probably should have put the regular fight down onto regular speed. Or that previous fight down onto regular. Dude's zipping around. Oh look, the out key. Where did you guys come from? Okay, so here's the thing. We literally have to wait for the game to let us sleep to get our sleep medal. You gonna let me sleep yet? Feels refreshing. Already 8 hours sleep remaining. Alright, Ark. Give up your secrets. This does leave us with the big question of what do we do for the rest of today, though? We can't intergalactic fishing, so we've already done that. Not that bad north. Destroy everything that I couldn't before? Well, I mean, but what for? We do have to, there is one, we do have a couple small things to do, but there's not much. Learn to crochet? I know how to crochet. I'm power fist, there you go, look at that. Extra obstacle melee target as well. Now, was there another room that needed that? That one. Oh, but they're all connected. So that's that. Phone isn't ringing yet. Thing is carefully placed. I wish there had been more mana to build extra campfires. Okay, so we have 2 things to go after now. Panz one punch. One punch Panz. That could be taken the wrong way though. I don't want it to sound like I got a glass jaw. Look how much titanium it needs. Alright, that's. I mean, we don't have to upgrade it all the way. I think we do for some of the things, actually. Wait, how much of this do I have now? 18, okay. I thought there was stuff that was higher than that. That's super soup. Oh, actually one that I really want to see if I can break, which I've been waiting to break all game, is this. Break this wall. 100 to break that wall. Oh man, how good would this been for farming brick? It's a pretty good weapon, yeah. It does okay. Maybe now we can maybe we can hit up this thing over here. I think the run's going to be through there. One stone. 22 for the last one. I think actually we're running. I was just going to run around the building, but I think that's silly. Hey Jazzy, how you doing? How's your 7 days to die going? I saw you yesterday, you just got absolutely mobbed by, I think it was nurses. They were chasing you inside the trader. You tired? Tell Gaddy to settle down. You got the rest of your life for that sort of stuff. Oh, young love. Ah. Get it. Oh, I should have cleared that first. 1 second remaining. Should be all the time chests. Achievement unlocked. Perfect timing. Achievement unlocked. Perfect interest. 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. Okay, so we're missing. The only thing we're missing now is one recipe. And the sleep medal. Hey, little coffin, how you doing, man? Let me sleep. I slept like 4 hours ago. I think the last time I had to AFK to wait to play a game was back when Farmville was a thing on Facebook. It probably still is, but it's not really. That's like 12 years ago or something. Sleep. Sleep for the week, right? Okay, I need 2 more titanium. And some lumber, actually. Ooh, okay. Yeah, Flash died. JavaScript's still annoying everyone, as much as it always has. How much of this do I have? Not much. It said 20 lumber. Yeah, but I've got some. Well, I probably could just put up another lumber machine. Or go somewhere that just drops lumber and punch things. Like, I don't know if that's... Oh, it's going to be just enough, maybe. Probably not. I'm going to miss one more, yeah. But if you interrupt the machine, it restarts. What do we do in the meantime? I can't do the final quest until we have to wait for several days to pass in-game. Go fetch some more trees? What for? Take that, nature. Is there anything left I haven't built? Oh, these are the only things you build. You don't really build. Oh, in terms of the thing? No, sorry. Tools and weapons, no. I haven't done the new turn on the power quest because it's at night, so I won't get to experience that, unfortunately. I didn't really do much else. Kopesh is satisfying. What else is there, Edwin? I didn't come across any, but I'm not very quick at noticing things. So maybe I did come across them. I just didn't realize. At level 4. Yeah, I didn't get that far. I rushed to level 2 to get the bike. So we got that on day 2. Which I don't know how I feel about as a thing. Like, you could almost do that without taking any skills and have a bike. I think severely undervalued. I mean, it just strengthens the argument that the trader is massively overpowered in the game. Which is either good or bad, depending how you look at it. So that's going to just come down to personal opinion, I guess. Of whether it's a good or a bad thing. I kind of like it, but yeah, there's the other side of me, like, for all the different challenges I was doing, part of the problem was not having a bike. And I mean, I know you still relied on stamina, so mini bike is still really important, but being able to get that bike on day 2, yeah, maybe, you know, it definitely makes level 1 Grease Monkey completely useless, though. Well, outside of the fact that it allows you to get level 2 Grease Monkey. But yeah, I don't think I even played to the level 3 POIs because I didn't want to wait that long. And I wanted to play around with the new, all the circular stuff. It's really left me feeling dirty because they put all these cool circular pieces in and they didn't match up with the other circular pieces they put in. It felt like they only put in a quarter of the pieces. Now, I wanted to power fist this. We did get some cool shapes set up. Oh, and then the zombies wouldn't walk the path. I got my spiral set up, the zombies wouldn't walk it. There needs to be a reduction in the special rewards, they're overpowered. Yeah, my choice was a, this is middle of day 2, right? My choice was a bicycle or a level 4 wrench. And I already had level 1 wrenches. And it was tempting because I probably could have got a workbench going. But I'm like, nah, I'll just take the bike. And I know on one of the dev stream things they were saying like they wanted to reduce the amount of ammo in the game. And which I don't know if maybe they did for people just collecting ammo. But when you go to the trader and on quest 1 he's like, here, have 120 shotgun shells for, you know, going and picking up that bag that was literally across the road in the window of the house. It's like, okay, cool. You got another one of those quests? Yeah, here you go. Can I get another 120 shotgun shells? No, but I will give you 157.62. Okay, yeah, sure, sounds good. You know, like... They should, no, I agree 100%. They should not be giving you that bike on day 2. And fair enough, like you have to do 7 quests to do that. But considering now where the trader location is, and it used to be, I used to love the buried supplies quest early because they used to be close. They'd be sort of 200 to 400 meters, which was almost always closer than a fetch or a clear quest. Sometimes you'd get a close fetch or clear quest, but not often. And it meant there was food in there. So you just run out with a shovel. You'd only have to kill 2 or 3 zombies on day 1. You get some food and a recipe that you either use or sell. And it was a nice, easy one to sort of get. And you could probably scope out a little bit of the town to see where maybe you want to raid or maybe you want to stay on the way. But now, because of where the location of the trader on the edge, the majority of the buried supplies are out in the opposite direction of town, and they're like 500 meters away, which is still good. Like you just have to run out there and do them. You had Twitch integration, and you got abused by the Twitch integration though. Kai saw it. It was pretty, so like they punished you a couple times. But I don't think I'd ever be able to do 7 quests in the past on day 1 or by halfway through day 2. Whereas, you know, having a fetch quest 180 meters away and just being able to run over to a house, grab it out the wall and run back, you know, and then getting a bike, like, it's just massive. Yeah, so definitely the bike is definitely an overpowered reward there. Are these things ready? Can we... Did I have enough lumber? Please say I had enough lumber. I wasn't paying enough attention. And I've seen people doing no trader runs, but I sort of look at that and go, I don't know, I literally do not know what I would do if I wasn't going to the trader to give me another quest. And people are like, oh, just build a bigger base. So like, why? Like, once I get the base up, you know. So you can defend really well. I mean, without the trader, you definitely have to scrounge more for ammo. Alright, so now we can... What game? 7 Days to Die. They just recently had to put through a big update. What are your thoughts of the town layouts now, Headwind? And did you do any aerial look at it? Yeah, it's a really interesting game. It is pure sandbox with some sort of repeatable quest direction. But other than that, it's just survive. It's interesting though. The mechanics work really well and stuff. But if you need more game or story direction, it can. Well, I mean, it took 200 hours for me to sort of wear thin on me. So it's pretty good value. And and it looks really nice now. It looked pretty good to start with. How do you feel about the town layouts? And did you do any sort of flying over the towns to have a look? Because I was playing it on the ground and I felt it felt reasonable. But the second I went up in the air to have a look to sort of check out the like the algorithmic layout of the towns, I was just so disappointed. But I honestly felt that it would still play a lot better because of how densely packed stuff was. But just so much concrete everywhere. No, I'm supposed to be at Crown. But I really like the direction they've gone with it. I hope they continue to improve the random gen world stuff. Random world gen stuff. Wait, where am I? How do I get down to South Panz? Go south. The issue with the road algorithm is because they're generating square tiles. Not so much the road degradation, the paint. Like, the paint is super fresh. Right? I'm okay with the roads not being so degraded because they're obviously not traveled on. So the wear and tear would get limited, right? To a certain extent. They still probably do need to have some areas that just have big chunks blown out of them. That'd be kind of cool. But by and large, like, the roads aren't getting driven on. Well, it's kind of weird. If you see what happens to asphalt roads if they're not driven on, they tend to mound up in certain spots, almost as if something's trying to escape from underneath them. Yeah, some of the crew were paid. Well, as Alpha 20 was dropping, man, they wanted to look good for the for everyone coming through town. You got to spend up before you put on the Olympics, right? When it comes to tiling, like random gen tiling in a game, you're basically making jigsaw pieces that are square. So you need to have imagine a square jigsaw in real life, right? The puzzles just fit together. So the only thing that stops you from just putting puzzle pieces wherever you want is the picture. So you need to think of the picture as a whole, not as individual tiles. And usually the point in random gen tile sets, Warframe does it really well, is that the tiles are allowed to be independent of each other. So you don't need to think about the picture anymore. right? As long as you have the right connector pieces. I need some potato. I actually need to go plant some potato. Are you kidding me? Right. So the issue that their generation algorithm has is that the reason the Warframe one, the tiles can be pre-drawn or independent, is they have a wall at like somewhere in the boundary, right? That literally divides this side from the other side, and you don't get that in 7 Days to Die because you can just walk from one tile to the next one. The last recipe was bone broth, I think. Bone broth. More melee attack speed. Yeah, so when you have... you would have seen it, Hedwin. One of the tiles has... You can almost divide the tiles into 9 squares. And it has a ring around the 3 in the middle. And the road goes all the way around 3 houses. Does a loop around it. And you get 2 of those next to each other, so you end up with these 2 roads that both do loops, and they're 2-lane roads painted, so they meet, they run parallel to each other. It's like, so you got 4 lanes, alternating directions. You know, a center line on each road. Yeah, so that's definitely something. It also, like, you can see if you open the debug menu, when you go to the map, there's a light switch you can click, and you can select no overlay, and you can see the tiles, how they're all, it's a square-based grid system that they've used for the tiles, which isn't bad, but it means that your towns are now going to be set up in little squares. And that determines like how things lay out. And they've done a really good job. Like they've subdivided the tiles algorithmically to have different POIs in there, or to divide it up so you don't just get, like sometimes that tile will be broken up into 4 quarters. Other times it'll be broken up into 3 rows, and sometimes the rows will be again subdivided into thirds. One of them it gets divided with a road in the middle, so you get a third and then a 6th in that lane and a mirrored other side, which, you know, so they've put a lot of thought into some of it. But yeah, clearly the road system just, and the road lays out in the tile, and so it just looks at, I need to connect this tile to the one next to it, so there's the connector, and as long as the road lines up, it's fine. But it doesn't consider the tile, you know, if you're connecting to the tile south, it doesn't consider the tile that's east or west. So you can end this huge cluster truck of road systems that don't connect, running sort of east-west, and having them all connect to tiles south of them. But on the ground, when you're walking around on the ground, it's a lot harder to notice. Houses in central probably have potatoes if I level them. I mean, I've got to wait for the game to let me sleep anyway, so I may as well just go plant some potatoes. Alright, so where's the thing? Over that way. But all in all, like, yeah, I think it's a huge improvement in the random gen, the random world gen, and I think they're only going to get it a little bit. It's only going to get even better from here, hopefully. But I think they've certainly, whoever's been doing that part of it and that team, I think they've worked out how hard procedural generation of like natural content is. Whereas having it whereas just manually making a lot of content and then just picking ones to put in place is often a lot quicker than, you know, writing a program that can just continually make stuff. Actually, I think the Dead Cells guys, I'm pretty sure it was Dead Cells, I think they did a GDC talk over that where they were trying to get like an algorithm to make the maps, and even though they'd start putting some rule sets in and they'd look at the maps and they'd just trash tier quality. And they'd look at it and go, well, it's followed the rules. And they're like, okay, we've got to tighten these rules and tighten these rules and these rules and these rules. And in the meantime, one of the artists, the level designer artists, were just making maps on the computer. And they worked out that if they just really brute forced all the different tiles, they'd end up with so much more content to piece together way faster than they could ever get an algorithm good enough to do it. You can put potatoes anywhere, right? Yeah, let's put them here. But it seems like, I know I've seen probably 2 or 3 different talks about people sort of following the same path to get to the same, to have the same sort of outcome, like not bad outcomes, but learning outcomes happen, to then make the same sort of next sort of step of what could I do differently? How could I improve it? And like everyone wants to invent the wheel. Like the wheel already exists, and there's lots of good examples out there. This is and it's definitely, it probably happens in a lot of industries, but it is largely predominant in software, where for some reason teams want to, oh man, I've only got 1 potato seed. I mean, I've got to wait forever in game anyway. It's still probably the quickest thing to do. Let's plant it here. Yeah, 100% epilogue. Like it's really tough. But what I'm saying is that there's been I can probably think of a dozen different good games that have gone through the process of working with tile sets and subdivision of tiles with smaller asset packages, and and then also you go the other way where you can have a smaller point tile that has limited options to choose from for expansion to become a bigger, like to go into a bigger group. And all of these where the teams had gone through a roadmap of learning and discovery for themselves, throughout time. It's like we don't work like that in any other industry. Like someone that, let's say a new car manufacturer comes on board, they're probably not going to learn how to make tires for themselves. They're going to have knowledge from somewhere else where tires are made. That's if they even make tires for their own car, instead of going to an existing tire factory, right? And even if they do decide, no, we think we can make a better tire, they're not going to go through the process from the beginning with no prior knowledge and be like, I don't want to know how everyone else makes rubber. We're going to learn how to do that from scratch ourselves and trial and error. You're going to... But it's definitely a huge thing in software where it's like, yeah, we've got this idea, this is what we want to do. And you just see them going through the same stages that other teams went through. It's like, why are you doing it like that? Just... I don't think it's a too proud thing, or maybe for some people it is. Or maybe not aware of other things that are out there, but I don't know. Most people in games are aware of other games. At any rate, can we sleep yet? About now. Machine learning is most likely path forward, constant improvement, change tracking. Maybe. I think even then it pushes into developing something with too much scope. I think the first thing is for anything where you're looking for some sort of generated content, use the real world as an actual base, right? So you look at games that make houses, right? They lay them out the way we would, very similar to how we would have houses in real life. And there's a reason for that, because the layout works. It's really hard to walk through a house, and it wouldn't make sense if you didn't have a hallway in a house, right? If you just had 6 rooms and it was 3 up the left side, 3 up the right side, and you just walked from one room here, door here, through a door to the next room, through a door to the next room, and they're all interconnected across way of doors, you'd be walking in there going, this doesn't make sense. Like, who has their bedroom connected to the... Some people have a bedroom connected to the living room, and then another bedroom on the other side, but this bedroom wouldn't be connected to the kitchen, and the kitchen connected to this bedroom, and then another bedroom in the back corner, right? There's usually a hallway or a walkway or a common area or something in there. So you do that first. Now, specifically in the 7 Days to Die group, where it's had, you know, the road system, tragic, unfortunately. Look at actual towns and see how the road system works. When you have a town that's only got 100 buildings in it, or less than like 50 buildings in it, see how it's laid out. To have, like, you want something that looks natural, you've got to start with natural set pieces. What I'm basically describing is a trailer, yeah. Or a series of them lined up. I have tons of data points, and studios aren't always most open with their projects. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Can I sleep yet? I played 14 hours ago. Alright, dude. Time to pull out Minesweeper. What are the restrictions? He will not go back to sleep. All I've been able to gather is he will not go back to sleep within a certain time from waking up. Now, I don't know if that time's extended based on how much sleep you took, or if it's just a set countdown timer from when you wake up. But usually the only time I would actively sleep was if I got to a camp and it was nighttime, because I found it fairly hard on my eyes to go around and be gathering stuff and doing things at night, especially in a new zone. If it was a zone I'd already been in, I was doing other stuff, and I didn't think I wasn't too worried about enemies and other things, then I didn't care. I'd just look at chat and sort of have it in my periphery. When you wake up from sleep, so it can advance the time, so you can turn nighttime into daytime. There's also at nighttime there's some forest spirits that will lead you to buried treasure. Apparently he requires 20-something hours of wake time. But on the other side of the coin, he never gets tired. So it's not like you ever have to sleep. There's no penalty for being awake for too long. You do get you get a rested bonus, which gives you some max HP. I think it's for 5 hours if you sleep for 6, you get that for 5 hours. If you sleep for 12, I think you get it for 8. 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe. Yeah, I think that's how it works. So if I had to guess, I would say if you got to speak to Bob and said, "Why are you not letting me sleep whenever I want?" The answer would be so you can't have permanent rested bonus. Otherwise, you'd go rest every time your rested bonus ran out. Right? Which I totally get, but I think then it's looking at the wrong problem. You know, and who cares really if someone goes back and sleeps every 5 hours just to have a little bit extra max HP. It's not like the game is massively balanced around combat anyway. You know, hit points are almost irrelevant. Well, if they were really low, they'd come into play. You'd die a lot more. But for the most part, yeah, irrelevant. It's probably to do more with growing and crafting. Yeah, because you could just... you'd go to the farm, plant crops, run back over here, sleep, go back to the farm, harvest plant crops, come back over here, sleep, go back to the farm, rinse and repeat, right? So I kind of get it, but at 20 hours, like, it feels kind of bad that at nighttime I can't get my character to sleep so that he can wake up in the morning. It feels really bad now that the last thing I need to do is sleep for 28 hours in game. So I literally have to AFK it. Now I have the DigiWatch on, I hope. Yep, so game speed is increased. How you doing, Plasmo? Long Dark has a similar issue. If you sleep off hours, your energy needs for sleep isn't quite there. You either sleep too long or sleep too little. Yeah, it's really hard to balance the... I found that with Long Dark as well. You know, I didn't want to be doing stuff at night because especially, like, it was colder at night and whatnot. So you had to sort of make sure your hunger was topped up and your thirst was there. And then you'd wake up at a certain time and... it wouldn't be light enough to go outside because, or wouldn't be late enough where it's both, you've got light and it's not so cold. And then you eat a bit and drink a bit and now you're just sort of waiting and you're full energy so you don't need sleep. But what do you do? And then, yeah, and that's worse. Like, so now you have to go back to sleep and now you're just going to get hungry and, you know, so it's just using up a lot of resources. Tried to craft at night, manage inventory. Yeah, same. It sometimes you'd get home. I think the ideal day in Long Dark was be running late to get home. So suffer a little bit of cold for, you know, an hour to 2 hours at the end of the day. And then, but not enough to do any actual damage, but just enough to be annoying, right? And then you'd get inside, you'd fix up all your stuff, have some stuff cooking while you, and then repair gear and whatnot, break stuff down, eat, drink, sleep for the time that you needed to get your energy back up. Again, or probably sleep just less than that so you can get some cooking started. Just a little bit, something that was going to go for an hour and not spoil, or boil some water. Have another hour's sleep, top up your things, and then head back out again a little early. But I hated heading out early because if you had a rough patch, it was a terrible start to the day. So you'd have to go back and fix it, and then it'd be late. It's always the expert players that would not eat anything till they sleep, essentially taking health damage from the hunger through the day, and since you recover health as long as you have calories going to bed, you recover at night. Yeah, but the problem with that is too, is that you're also... increasing your weight load with your carry. I mean, I was always encumbered anyway. And I didn't like being low health because it was quite easy to get jumped and the combat was terrible. But because it was a save load game, I was just saving, and then if I got jumped by a wolf, I'd just reload it and go through again. I liked the higher difficulty for the survival side of it, but the combat was just awful. And it was good when I first played it. And with some minor adjustments here and there, it became like... if you didn't shoot the wolf at a distance, you were getting a bad injury. If the wolf came into melee. He's almost tired. So tomorrow we'll definitely be starting the Shadow Tactics expansion. Oh, I liked it. I love the story. Yeah, I love the... I thought the survival was... all the different meters that went back and forth were really good. And I think they... it feels like the survival was balanced more around the survival mode because they had that available from a lot earlier, since they had very limited story. So... and one of the things that got me into it was just the survival side of it. I was just doing, like, I did the first chapter and the second chapter wasn't even complete. It was playable, but it was missing a lot. So I was just doing a lot of the survival stuff. And the survival stuff made it feel like that sleep, energy, food and drink issue wasn't as, like, it just wasn't there doing just a pure survival. Because you didn't have to do quest stuff. You didn't have to get out to the cabin, like, for the old lady and go to the store, or, you know, pick up her mail from the bank or whatever it was, and get back home and then sort of balance that with the day-night cycle. If you're just playing survival, you're just sort of playing survival. So you could stay out a bit longer or scavenge or whatever. So the wasted resources weren't really wasted, though. You just used stuff when you used it. You know? Hey, he can sleep. Plus 13 max hit points for the next 8 hours. We need to sleep for another 14. It was at 14 hours or something. Let's get our potato. There's 3 potatoes there. Put those little potatoes next to each other. And when they're done, we'll be good. "16 hours of sleep." My character is dressed like Luffy from One Piece. Is that intentional? No. There is very limited... I don't know who it is or what that is, so definitely not intentional. But there's limited outfits. And this is a lumberjack one. And there's no character creation. Alright, well, it's about that time. I'm going to make a cup of tea, hit the little stream room. I will not be pausing. Hopefully we can get many hours of gameplay to pass while I'm having a quick break. Then we'll come back and we can talk about anything else and possibly what we're going to play for the second half of today, which probably would have been the second 2/3 of today, except I've got an hour and a half of standing around waiting for the game to play itself. Sounds great. I'll be right back. Oh man. I only slept 2 hours ago. It is kind of fun leveling the earth. Or leveling everything down to the earth. Although completely unnecessary. Oh, I did have I had some more random thoughts of a video game I'd like to play, but I don't know if it exists. In which case, if it doesn't, I'd like to, well, pretend to myself that I'm going to start making something. You never know, I could put code on page one day. I want a roguish dungeon. I'm thinking like typical like CRPG style thing. You know, think of any MMO dungeon. You know, you have your trinity of players, tank, healer, 2 to 4 DPS. You know, little groups of enemies at the start, maybe some bigger groups of small enemies somewhere in the, you know, along the way. Boss fights and things, whatnot. You know, standard stuff. But yeah, you start with low levels or even level 1 characters, and by the end of the dungeon they've leveled up. Somewhat. And I guess where the randomness comes into, probably the dungeon layout as well as bosses and stuff. But also what skills are offered to the characters. What loot drops from enemies and bosses. Now, you might not be able to get that perfect tank set, so you have to sort of balance what you give where. Can I sleep now? Slept like 3 hours ago. I'm gonna be checking. I'm probably gonna check 100 times before I can sleep again. Now, what do you drop? I think I'd like that. And you can have multiple styles of tanks and healers. Obviously, I think you can just take any standard high fantasy group of characters. You know, warrior, paladin, mage, rogue, cleric, priest, whatever you want to call them, monks, bards. Be able to fist a tree. Kopesh? fish is extremely satisfying. Well, none of this is relevant.